Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Nigeria Decides 2023. First, I would like to apologize for the late start of the program. Um, it is always due to what we call the African time. I hope we can change it. Americans call it Color People Time, CP time, but we are hoping one day we will be able to change that narrative. Uh, that being said, people are watching us in Nigeria Direct. My name is Ayo Da Silva, and I'm going to be the moderator of this event. 2023, it's a make or mar year for Nigeria. We have the most crucial election since independence. And this year, we will know if there will be a Nigeria, since we are battling for the soul of that country right now. 60 years, 63 to be concise, of independence, and the largest black African nation in the world is still underdeveloped. So we have decided that this year things will change, but we will see how that goes from here. Can we just crowd ourselves a little bit so it doesn't look too scanty? Those of you, can you move forward, please? Thank you. We have representatives of three major political parties. They are the front runners of this event. The three front runners. The first is the is the All Progressive Congress, APC, and then we have the People's Democratic Party, the PDP, and then we have the Labour Party, which is trying to be the third force for the first time involved in this Nigeria Decides. So, as you see, the representatives are getting ready to take their seats, so we will start this event first by a simple prayer. We always start with God in everything we do, and we will do that first. So if anyone that God has given the gift to be able to pray for this event, please do so now. If you have the spirit to pray, Praise Akiode, please pray for us. You might have the microphone here.
Shall we pray? Our Father in heaven, we thank you for this time that you have brought us together, even as individuals. Thank you for the gift of life, and thank you for this program that we've decided to come, pertaining Nigerian Decide. We ask you take absolute control. We ask the people you have for yourself, you have chosen, you will inaugurate them. And this program, at the end of everything, all glory will be ascribed unto you. Thank you because as many that are coming, you bring them safely. In Jesus' mighty name we pray.
Amen. I have just been notified that we have a program director who is going to do the call to order. So while I look for someone who will do a Muslim prayer for us, if we have, I will call on Ambassador Temitope Omotayo, who will do the call to order. Do we have someone who can do a Muslim prayer for us? If not, then we say later, maybe later. So please, a round of applause for Ambassador Temitope Omotayo. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. I want to apologize for starting late. It's not because we are Nigerians and we are using Nigerian time or African time, but you know that we just have to, we have to come late, but at least we are starting now. Today is a very, very remarkable day, and it's a very, very wonderful day in the sense that we are trying to rewrite our history. We are trying to rewrite our story. We are trying to project a very good image of our country. We are saying we as diasporas, they always say diaspora people cannot vote, they cannot do anything, but we as diasporas, we know we cannot vote, but we have a say. And that's why we have come together today. We have people from different political parties. We have the representative of the PDP. We have the representative of the Labour Party. We have the representative of the APC. So, of course, what we are trying to do today is just to have a debate. Let's know what each of these candidates have in stock for us. And on one part, and on the other part, let us have the opportunity to say something about our candidate or about the electioneering process in Nigeria. And really, I believe this is the dawn of a new era. I won't take much of your time. I just want to say thank you to everybody. Thank you so much. So, without taking too much, I think our guests, I will be introducing them. Please, as I'm introducing them, please give them a round of applause. Representing, oh, yes, I want to, So we are about to start formally now. Of course, we have two countries represented here. We have the Nigeria and we have the United States of America. So as we are starting now, we want to start with the national anthem. And I think we are starting with America first, right? So please join us. Let's give, are they ready? I just want to be sure. They're ready? So we want to sing the United States of America, the best country in the world. We want to say national anthem. Thank you. Thank you so much. Then the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Nigerian National Anthem. you so
music on
much. Thank you so
trendybeats.com.
much. Thank you. Without wasting much time, we want to appreciate some important dignitaries. We are all important. And of course, you know, we are all important. So if I have not gotten to you, most likely I'll get to you. We want to appreciate the presence of the president of the United African Community Organization, the umbrella body of all Africans in Michigan. I want to appreciate the presence of Honorable Moses Lukago. Let's give him a round of applause, please. He has been a strong community leader, and we appreciate you, sir. Next, I want to appreciate the President Emeritus. He has been a foremost community leader, and he's a distinguished family man. Yes, and husband of one wife. So I want to appreciate Honorable Paul Alebua, the former president of Nigerian Foundation of Michigan. Then I also have the distinguished, we have, of course, the president of Igbo Cultural Association of Michigan. Sorry, I don't want to. Honorable Gabriel Ugo. Let's give you a round of applause, please. And I also have the former president of Igbo Cultural Association of Michigan, too. Honorable, sorry. Okay. In our community, we have a lot of men who are making the community proud. And we also have women too, who have distinguished themselves in their chosen fields, and they are not just, swearing, in their business or in their family, they're also swearing in the community. So I have the privilege of introducing a foremost community leader and the former president, I'm starting, former president of Edo Heritage in Michigan, and the overall president, the first female president of Edo Indigenes worldwide, Honorable Engineer Bose Oviasu. Let's give her a round of applause, please. First female president in the over 20-something years of that organization. Is a feat, is a great feat. Then I will continue. I still have the presence of, former president of Igbo Cultural Association of Michigan, and the former president of People's Club, our own community leader, a distinguished professional, and a philanthropist. I want to appreciate the presence of Imperial Chief Dr. Ikena Duru. Let's give him a round of applause, please. Oh, yes. He has contributed immensely to the development of this community since over 40 years. And he's not tired. He's still trying to work towards a better Nigeria. I want to appreciate a foremost leader in our community, a distinguished academia, and of course, an amiable personality who has made immense contributions. So I want to appreciate the presence of Dr. Shalewa Ola, and he has served as the former president of Nigerian Foundation of Michigan, and also UECO, United African Community Organization. He's now the Director General, UECO, and he's also a convener of this meeting. Let's give him a round of applause. Dr. Ola, please. Of course, Some of our members in this community, they went home, they distinguished themselves. They even got political appointment. They are not just business icons, they are also politicians. So, and they have made us proud at home, and they are still making us proud here. I want to appreciate, I want to introduce, and I want to, introduce one of our community leaders, a distinguished personality, Honorable Mike Okaka, who is a very, very, very distinguished personality and one of our community leaders. I think the introduction will continue as we progress. Is there anything I'm omitting? So, of course, it's a privilege as Michiganders. It's a privilege to be hosting this because this is the first of its kind in this country. No state, and I'm repeating, no state has done this. And, at this point, Michigan is being put on the world map. Everybody is watching us from all over the world because this is the first time any state will be having debate, town hall meeting for Nigerians in diaspora, especially towards election. And so a lot of people have come from out of state. So I have this distinguished community leader and a professional par excellence, Chief Johnny Obika. Let's give him a round of applause, please. All the way from North Carolina, all the way from NC. Easy. Thank you. Welcome, sir. And everybody, I have to appreciate our own PRO, the Public Relations Director of Yoruba American Community, Dikin Akinyode. We appreciate you. And I also appreciate all our distinguished personalities, and I will also be reading out names as we progress. So without wasting much of our time, the era we are in now is we want to have before we go into the debate proper, we want to give people opportunity to be able to say something. If you want to support your candidate, if you want to say so much about our country, but we want us to keep our conversations civil. We want us to keep our contributions civil. We don't want anyone to abuse anybody. Of course, we might disagree with people in principle. We don't want anybody to start calling any of the people names, but we can, of course, express our views. We are not censoring views, but we don't want us to have to call other people names or attack personality. So a list will be brought out. If you have any contribution you want to make, I just need people to put down their names. If you have any contributions, Honorary PRO, sir, can you help me pass this around? If they have any contributions, they can just pass. They can just put so that we'll be able to be orderly with this. So we want to make that brief because we don't want to. We already started late, so we don't want to keep our people waiting. So that's what we need to do. If you have anything you want to say or you would like to make a contribution, please let's remember to keep it civil. Let's remember to not attack personality because that's what we are known for. We are Nigerians. We are civil. We are responsible. We are courteous. And we are cautious. And we make impact wherever we go, all over the world. And that's why the country is the most populous black country in the world. So we want to project a good image of Nigeria today. And because the whole world will be watching us now. So thank you so much.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank you for your time and your commitment, especially our brother who came all the way from North Carolina. You did wonderful. I appreciate you a lot. Please, you have to start because time is of essence. Having said that, I would like to introduce a man who's going to moderate today's event. He's not that person you all know. He's a community leader. He's a distinguished Senator, Ayo Da Silva. Thank you.
Once again, and thank you for that applause. I'm back to moderating this program. The recognitions have been made, so eminent people and those of you that's name well mentioned, please bear with us. All protocols observed. We will quickly start the program, but prior to that, I was notified that the convener of this event would like to make a quick speech. So the convener of this program is none other than Dr. Shaliwa Ola. A round of applause for him, please.
Thank you so much. Standing on the existing protocol, I'd like to welcome each and every one of you to Wayne County Community College. I'm also a professor in this college. The college wants me to extend gratitude on behalf of our Vice Chancellor. Gratitude to you, especially at this very time when we have the Black History Month. So the Chancellor and member of the staff want us to do that. The moderator has said all we need to have been said. It's going to be an exciting time. I also want to recognize the community leader who will be speaking shortly after I finish my short remark. I will not be waiting too much of your time because there's a lot to be said. I also want to recognize my students from the anatomy and physiology class. Welcome you all. It's very good that you participate with us. Without much ado, you will have more, it's a learning curve that this is the 7th largest country in the world with a population of more than 200 million. As a matter of fact, it's the largest African country in the whole world. We represent the largest member of the Black race in the world. 1 of every 4 people in the world is a Nigerian. That we are here today celebrating how democracy is worthwhile, that they are not fighting and everything. I've been doing. So I will be speaking later, so I didn't want to disturb you all. So I will call on our moderator to start it. They are going to call the distinguished leaders of our community to make comments. And welcome each and every one of you. So once again, it's my pleasure on behalf of the Community College to welcome each and every one of you to this august occasion. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ola. So I was notified that we have guest speakers here also. Like I explained earlier on, this is a make or mar election in the Federal Republic of Nigeria, being the largest Black nation on earth. So it's a really determinant that we have what we hear from our leaders of our community in the state of Michigan and in diaspora. First, I have a guest from out of state, and I will want to honor him first before we go local. The microphone is right there, so if you would like, please welcome Chief Johnny Obika from North Carolina. Please 1 or 2 minutes speech on Nigeria Decides, the election. Thank you.
Recording in progress.
Thank you, gentlemen and the ladies. My name again is Johnny Obika, Nigerian, Nigerian American. I'm really honored to be here in your midst for this wonderful occasion. My good friends talked to me about this. I said, look, I'm gonna make time to be here. Tight weekend, but I'm here. Anyway, I appreciate what you guys are doing, and I just want to take the opportunity to tell you it's time we think deep inside. We are diasporans. I have met with Abike Dabire twice in the Nigerian embassy, talked to her about, and the Vice President Osibanja, about diasporans voting. All they gave us was promises. I met with some senators too, promises and promises. So this is the time we need to take it on ourselves. It's serious business. I spoke to some candidates. Peter Obi in particular, he said when he gets in office, he will fight to make sure that we start voting. There are so many opportunities we miss in diaspora. We have investors, potential investors, with money, scared to go home and take investments back to Nigeria. Some of them are franchising opportunities they can take home, some engineering opportunities. We have some brains that are draining that can develop the country. Everybody's on the run because of insecurity. We can change that. So much is going on. The Naira, our money don't have value anymore. I remember a long time ago, it used to be 1 Naira to $1.80. Now it's $1 to 700, almost 800.
30 seconds left.
Yes, okay, thank you, sir. So let us think deep inside. It's a serious business. Wherever we can do, whatever we can do, please, let's ponder in and make a change. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Chief Obika. Next, I'm still outside. I'm still taking speeches or 1 or 2 minutes talk from our invitees outside the Nigerian community. On that note, I will call the president of the United African Community in the person of Mr. Moses Lukwago. A round of applause for Mr. Moses.
Thank you very much. Mr. Convener, I would like to thank everybody who has spared their time to be here. As you can see, we have very few minutes. Let me just refer to my comments, which I made for this very important occasion. First and foremost, I would like to bring you greetings from the United African Community Organization, which is the umbrella organization that brings us all Africans together. I want to recognize my esteemed Secretary General of the United African Community Organization, Professor Kiyumi. Can you please stand up? And with me here, I have members of the board of directors. I do have Mr. Paul Alebua, not only founding treasurer, but a very active member of UECO. And of course, we have our esteemed executive director, Dr. Ola Shalewa. Thank you for the work that you do. And we have the wonderful lady who used to mastermind the health affairs of UECO. We want to recognize you, madam. Yes. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we get very excited if a wind of change is about to blow in an African country. Nigeria is not only any other African country. Nigeria
is the leading African-led country in the world. For those of you who don't know about the stats, every one out of 4 Africans in the world is a Nigerian. Not only that, Nigeria has a cultural impact which vibrates throughout the world. Nigeria has the richest black person is from Nigeria, our industrialist. So Nigeria matters. So the meeting that we have today is important because it's a meeting which is organized by the diaspora of Nigeria and us. No country on earth has ever developed without connecting with its diaspora. Every time we encounter Nigerians, they're either doctors, they're practitioners, very accomplished men and women.
Can we mute that, please?
So it's my appeal this afternoon to all the Nigerians, especially those back home in government, to coordinate very closely with the Nigerian diaspora.
Thank you very much.
So with this town meeting, I applaud the organizers for this event. I pray that the deliberations that are held today will enlighten us and the millions of voters back in Nigeria, so that when February 25 comes, they will be voting wisely for a Nigeria that is better, a Nigeria that holds its leadership of the African continent with pride. Thank you so much for inviting me. May God bless Nigeria and these United States of America.
Thank you so much, Mr. Lukwago. Thank you. Because of time, I'm sorry that we have to interrupt most of the speeches, but please, if you can limit it to 3 minutes for us, so that we don't want to exceed our time with Wayne County Community College, and most of our guests here have another occasion. So on that note, I will quickly call on the president of the Nigerian Foundation of Michigan, Mr. Paul Aleboa. Mr. Aleboa.
Hello. First, I want to thank the organizers of this event. We are very happy to be here. There is a dawn in Nigeria with this new election coming up, this February 25th. And we want to appreciate all the participants in that election. We're really happy that there's going to be a new president, and hopefully it's going to be somebody that is ready to make a big change in Nigeria. Security is terrible. There's no money. I mean, people don't have food. So it's a lot of changes that needs to be made. And hopefully, after the election, we have somebody that is going to be able to do that. I'm happy to be here, and I want to appreciate again all the people here organizing this, and we hope that we have a very peaceful election come February 25th. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Paul Aleboa. Next, I will call on our favorite lady, of substance, the first woman to head a very big organization, a tribal organization in the worldwide, and we are proud that she's from Michigan. Ladies and gentlemen, Engineer Bose Obiasu.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, standing on the existing protocol. My name is Bose Obiasu. I want to first of all thank the organization that put this together, because like Mr. Temi said, I think this is one of a kind. There's no states that I've held that I know about that have come together to call like a town hall meeting concerning the forthcoming election. I just got back from Nigeria the day before yesterday. There's a lot going on in our country. We all need a change. We all need a change. That is a country that I grew up. I was like 30-something years in that place before I relocated to Michigan. By going back home and seeing what is going on over there, we believe that this coming election, February 25th, the narrative of Nigeria will have to change, hopefully, that the citizens, they vote the right candidates that can be able to make a change for our country. A lot is going on, a lot has been happening, but I believe that the time has come for us to step in. We cannot be making change from distance. All of us in diaspora, we can also go back home and make a change. It's not just to complain and talk about what is going on there. What are you doing to help to make a change? It's a collective effort. So with this town hall meeting, for those listening to me, please use your PVC to vote for the right candidate. The right candidate. I am not after APC, PDP, or Labour, but use your conscience to vote for the right candidate that will change the narrative of Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Engineer Bose Obiasu. Last but not the least, before we quickly go to the real program that we came here for, the debate, I would love to call the current president of the Igbo community in the state of Michigan and president of Mr. Gabriel Ugu. A round of applause for Mr. Gabe Ugu.
Good evening. And resting on our protocols, I would like to say that I am a typical or a complete Nigerian. I grew up in Kaduna and Kano, went back to Enugu, which is my hometown, and also went to Umuahia for my secondary and post-secondary school, then came here on scholarship from Nigeria with a Nigerian passport. As a result, I want to make sure or support Nigeria existence. Now, one thing we have to realize is, like they have said, Nigeria is the largest country with the largest population of black people in one place. Unfortunately, Nigeria has been a disappointment to the black race, despite every blessing that God has given us. We have played around with it, and those that have led us have misled us, stealing, grabbing, and not giving a thought to the common man. That needs to change because the rest of the black race is waiting for us. And as a result, it's incumbent that we Nigerians select the right person to take us to the next level. And for that to happen, we Nigerians, since those of us here cannot vote, those of us at home must forget our tribe, our religion, and do the right thing, so that we can also pull the rest of black race up, because we have been treated as if we are trash, and by that I mean the black race. And that is because Nigeria has not done its duty. So as we are here, let us press on. We have only 2 more weeks. Let us press on our folks back home not to take any political bribes. In other words, don't sell our souls. Do the right thing and move forward. Thanks for coming out.
Thank you very much, President Gabe. Now that it's 2:30 and we're about to start our main program, I need to let us know that we have some ground rules that we want to let us know. We can applaud any great points that any of the debaters make, but please, let's be civil in our response. Even when you feel that you are not comfortable with what that debater is saying. We will be civil with how we respond. We are in a university campus, and we know that our eyes are on us all over the world as well. People are on Zoom, so we don't want to be unruly, even though this may get passionate sometimes, because when we have great supporters, we want to show how much emotions we have in there. So please, and the debaters, when you make your point, please no insults. Let's try as much as possible to use languages that, even if it's going to be derogatory, but at least more civil, so that I understand that we would love to call opponents various kinds of names. But I applaud and appeal to you to be more civil at this time about that. Make your points. The audience are listening. The world is listening. And if you have to criticize your opponent, do so in a more civil manner, so that we can still be able to use the university community in the future, so they will not say, and then you guys know how it is, especially when we get involved with emotions. So that being the rules, 3 minutes is the first debate, the first time to present your manifesto of your candidates. Today, we have 3 candidates here. I have 3 representatives of 3 parties. And they are, Dr. Ola will be representing the All Progressive Congress, APC. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for Professor Dr. Olashalewa Ola. Representing the People's Democratic Party is Mrs. Omolara Williams. Please, a round of applause for Mrs. Omolara Williams. Ambassador, please take over so she can sit down. Ms. Omolara, please, you are invited up front here. She is a lifelong PDP member. And we have, for the third force party that is trying to wrestle power from the APC, which is the Labour Congress, we have Honorable Mike Okaka representing Labour Party. We are going to write our questions down. Even some of you will be able to ask questions, but we are trying, like I said, to be civil because we don't want the floor to start using insults in the questioning. So please, you have pen and paper, write your questions down, and after they have finished telling us what their support, what their candidates has to offer Nigeria, then we will throw the questions to the floor, and then we will do the remarks, the closing remark and vote of thanks. And then I think Ambassador will organize the refreshment. We have water and some cookies in the house. So ladies and gentlemen, I think it's showtime. Let us hear from those supporters of the candidate. The first person I'm going to call to the podium is the representative of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, in person of Mrs. Omolara Williams. A round of applause for Mr. Omolara. You have 3 minutes to tell us why we should vote for your candidate. 3 minutes to tell us why we should vote for Alhaji Atiku Abubakar.
Thank you very much. My name is Abiodun Omolara Williams. Please permit me to just hold the mic like this. Actually, I expected you to give me 5 minutes because I have been so busy with the program. And I was thinking maybe somebody else can just come before me so that I can put on everything I want to say. But notwithstanding, I want to welcome everybody to this wonderful program. I'm a member of People's Democratic Party from my childhood because my mother happened to be a politician. And since the inception of PDP, that is the time I have joined the party, and I have never defected to any other party. Well, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar has been the vice president of this country, of Nigeria, sorry, not America, of Nigeria. And he worked with the former president, Olusegun Obasanjo. And like we Americans used to say it, being there, done that. He has the experience. He has been there before. With the situation where we find ourselves in Nigeria now, we don't want to experiment. We want people that have the experience of doing it. According to his 5 agenda, he talked about the economy, he talked about the security, he talked about the employment, he talked about the youth development, and at the same time, he talked about how we can bring the best out of Nigeria and being together as one. And that is why we call him the unifier. Alhaji Atiku Abubakar is the unifier. He is not somebody that is tribalistic. He doesn't speak about his own tribe alone. And if you look at Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, he will tell you, I'm a Pan-African man, and that is him. And so humble. And at the same time, when we're talking about what we really need in the country now, because the ship of the country must not sail. We have to try as much as possible to rescue our country. We are coming up to rebrand, to rescue, and to reset the agenda of the country. Nigeria is a great country. we are full of resources. Many of us that we are here outside the country in diaspora. During the regime of Olusegun Obasanjo, when he was the vice president, he brought in a lot of us that were in the diaspora. And among us, we find Mr. Adesina, who is now the AFDP chairman, president. The same thing, the woman in the World Bank today, it was Alhaji Atiku Abubakar that brought him. And the youth empowerment, most people that are being brought in by Alhaji Atiku Abubakar then, they are nothing less than 30 years of age. And all of them, some are even governors today, some are even representing the country outside the country. Same, this is what we want to do. We want to use that experience. We are not talking about testing now. We want to bring in new things that can bring up our country. This is not the issue of I am this ethnicity or me, I'm from this tribe or I'm from this tribe. Let us first rescue this country first. Nigeria is one, and I think together we can do it. We should not allow tribe or religion to put us in a situation that we will not like. This is the right time to take a right choice, and Alhaji Atiku Abubakar is the person that can unify us, rebrand, reset, and rescue our country. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mrs. Omolara, for that wonderful 3 minutes of, oh, she used 5 minutes? Okay. Of letting us know what Chief Alhaji Abubakar Atiku will do for Nigeria and the experience he has. Now, I'm going to call on the representatives of the All Progressive Congress. Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu is the candidate, and representing Asiwaju or speaking on why Nigerians should vote Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu to power is Professor Dr. Shaliwa Ola. A round of applause, please.
Thank you so much. It's time for everything. There's season for everything. We, like the moderator said, we do represent the largest nation on earth, African nation on earth. At that time, we need people who have what it takes. All the people running for the presidency, we should give them an applause because they have done well. They are good people. There's something special about, in this country, in America, people pay for things. Asiwaju Ahmed Tinubu is one of those who suffer so that we have democracy in Africa, in Nigeria. He was a member of NADECO who fought so that Nigeria could be a free nation. The last time we had a president, it was because the security of the nation was challenging. And it's still challenging, but it's a lot better than it was before, if same. At this time, we need an economic presidency. Economic in the sense that we do represent the unemployment in Nigeria today. For the adults, about 30%, and for the youth, it's more than 50%. We're talking about economy that could go from consumer to production. Alhaji Tinubu has been a person who turned the economy of Lagos from 600 billion to 6 trillion every month when the Obasanjo regime refused to give the Lagos State its annual. We are looking for things that we could do to generate funds so that the economy, right now, what the Renew Hope is all about is to give us more revenue so that we'll take care of our people in terms of education. And Nigerians is a very proud country, distinguished in education in our format of life. We need security to be improved. It's part of the manifesto of Tinubu and Shettima that the security will be improved in Nigeria. He did it before in Lagos. I grew up in Lagos, and in the 90s, when the security was bad, he has said he will increase the pay for the security agent. He will add more technology to fight the security of the country. He will do about restructuring in terms of community policing. Everywhere you live right now, Lagos is still one of the safest places in Nigeria. There's a living testimony in that. Lagos is still one of the safest places to live in Nigeria. And it's also one of the most detribalized leaders. When he was governor of Lagos, we have people from the southeast, southwest to be commissioners. He will tap the best we have in Nigeria to lead, because he has done it before. A lot of people will be talking here, and some of them were governors. You could challenge them to say, how many people do they put who are not members of their ethnic tribe? In the United Nations, we look for the best resources. And this gentleman has brought the best, regardless of where they come from. And there's a living evidence on that. In youth, he's talking about the youth empowerment in the country. When he was the governor, the housing minister at this time was his chief of staff. He was only 37 years old. He brought all of them to the government. Youth, the economy, he has promised in his renewal manifesto that 30% of members of his cabinet
30 seconds.
will be there. And the last but not the least, because we'll get some time, we talk about food energy, agricultural energy, and diversification of the economic base to mostly hydroelectric. We talk about uranium, the problem we have. He has come up with a plan so that we could get oil and gas to do that. So we'll have much time to discuss about that. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Professor Ola, for standing in for Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Now we will call on the representative of the Labour Party standing in for His Excellency Peter Obi. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for Honorable Mike Okaka.
Thank you very much, Mr. Moderator, and ladies and gentlemen. It gives me great pleasure today to stand before you to speak about a very great person, a wonderful human being. People like him come once in a lifetime. I'm saying this without missing words. I think Nigeria and the entire black nation will be very proud to have him as the president of Nigeria. He's going to be very exemplary. If you check his track records, this is a man who was a trader. He went to school. While he was in school, he was doing business, saving every money. He had a taxi while he was a student on campus, was making money, So he's been used to creating wealth. When he came to Anambra State to rule the state, he was able to move the state from number 26 in the position of education to number 1 within the first 3 years he was in office. This same man, like what Warren Buffett said, if you want to judge a man, judge him by character, intelligence, and integrity. These 3 qualities are not lacking in this man, Peter Obi. And this is what Nigeria needs now. And the whole entire world needs somebody like him. I'm not saying this because we're begging for votes in Nigeria. No way. He says, judge him, not because he's an Igbo man, not because he's a trader or whatever he is, but just take him for what he is and try him out. This is a man who will change the narrative of Nigeria. Someone has spoken about that. I don't want to start comparing him with other very amiable and credible candidates like the APC guy and the PDP people. But Nigeria, we have seen Nigeria. These parties, APC was in power. They're still in power in Nigeria, and everybody's complaining. No water, no petrol, no money from the bank. You can't even access your monies that you have in the bank. What does that show you? The other part, again, is that the PDP has been in power, too, and we were still in the same mess. Why can't we change it now? And now that we have somebody like Peter Obi, who has offered himself to help us. I think that every Nigerian who has a voter's card going back to Nigeria should vote Labour Party and vote Peter Obi for the change that we need. This is the real change. Most people will come and tell you there's going to be a change, there's going to be a change. But once they get in there, everybody starts going back and we still cry every day. We go to bed with our eyes, 2 eyes, we can't shut them out. We sleep with 1 eye open because of insecurity. You go to the hospital, no medicines. You can't even access the health care. So it's zero. Education is like next to nothing. So what are we talking here? Why don't we want the change, and the change that would make us a better country? Nigeria is over 200 million of black people. That's the country with the greatest number of black people in the entire world. The economy of Nigeria is number 1 now in Africa. With Peter Obi coming to power, he's going to propel it to higher grounds. He's a man of very limited ideas, not greedy. I worked with him, and other people have worked with him. His greed appetite is 0 compared to the other candidates. I can say that. He's a man who lives by modest means, and he has so much, and he has never gotten into corruption. You can go and verify. He uses that, and that's what happens. So I'm here to tell you about him, and I'll be taking questions, and I yield. Thank you, gentlemen and ladies.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mike Okaka, representing Peter Obi from the Labour Party. Before questions, we would like to, while you put those questions down, to see if the candidates will do a rebuttal of their candidatures and of their opponents. So, first, I will call back the presidential candidate for PDP. 2 minutes rebuttal of those 2 other candidates that are challenging Atiku Abubakar.
Thank you so much, Excellency. When you need a pilot to fly a plane through a storming weather, you will never need a pilot that will tell you, I will try to learn how to do it. Or the person that will tell you is that, I will try to go back to school to learn how to do it. Will you ever try to make use of somebody that is still learning as your pilot in a storming flight? No, you will need somebody that has the experience. Atiku Abubakar has the experience. Another thing I want us to know is that we also need a president who can get us out of this period, this crisis where we find ourselves in Nigeria. And like I always tell people, I don't like comparing or criticizing any other person. I'll tell you exactly what I think my candidate will do. And I want you to look at it, if it is possible or not. Also, I want us to look at this. I want you to support Atiku Abubakar because it's going to create jobs. He has done it before. He's doing it even when he's not even in a position, and he's going to do more. I want you to support Atiku Abubakar because he's a lover of education. Even those children that involved in this Chibok crisis, Atiku brought some of them to the United States of America to come and learn. It's because he appreciates education. If you look at the way he started in his own life,
30
you
seconds.
will know that he understands what it takes to have education. Atiku also personified the brand of politics in Nigeria. He has yearned for that since independence from Great Britain, and he's still doing that. Atiku is healthy, and a healthy person will always be there for us at any time. For Nigerian workers, you need to know that not only does Atiku employ more than most state governments, but he's still going to do more.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Still 2 minutes up. A round of applause for her, please. That was wonderful presentation of the PDP candidate. Education is very important from what I came from her. So we will now call on the party of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the candidate, the representative, Professor Shalewa Ola, to do a rebuttal on both Atiku and Peter Obi. 2 minutes, please.
Thank you so much. I think the issue we have here, like we said before, is the situation the country is. We represent the sixth, when he was the governor of Lagos State. And if you ask people now, people identify with Lagos because he laid the infrastructure of what a nation could be. This is due, and I agree with PDP, it's due by experience. People who have the tenacity and the capacity to build a nation. He built a state. Right now, Lagos is deemed to be the sixth largest economy in Africa. It's a city, it's a state, but it's the sixth largest economy. They all base it on the formula of His Excellency Tinubu, who would be the next president of Nigeria, come on the 25th. And all of our people here, they are Lagosian. The governor of the former governor has a house in Lagos. That's how accessible Lagos is. That he could have a house in Lagos. You know, so the whole place, he bring everybody together. And when he built Nigeria, he'll be one of the largest economies. Like I said, this is the situation, the security and economy. That's the problem we have in Nigeria. And he has the experience to do that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Shalewa Ola. Without much ado, I will call on the representatives of the Labour Party, representing this candidate, Peter Obi, Mr. Mike Okaka.
Gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here again. If I listen to what my very respected representatives of their various party presidential candidates, first of all, when we talk about creation of jobs, like the Atiku representative said, she said that Atiku knows how to create jobs. Well, I still, most Nigerians, most honest Nigerians can attest to you that Peter Obi is exemplary in that event, in that track. Talk about creation of jobs and creating of wealth. You look at the MDG projects, that's the Millennium Development Goals, that was created by the World Bank for about 15 years. I think well, when they came to Africa, Nigeria and the state, Anambra State was #1, and that was when Peter Obi was governor. You can't talk about economic, creation of wealth, and not talk about Obi. Because when he was 40 years old, when he was the chairman of the first bank in Nigeria, of Fidelity Bank in Nigeria, he was 40 years old. He was the youngest ever chairman. And this is what the guy, when they budgeted so much money for his office, instead of having to buy elaborate vehicles, he just bought a Peugeot 504 that was made in Nigeria. That's what he drove. This is a man who has been given to probity and to conserve resources. Now that Nigeria is so, the spendthrift, when you have people like, the presidential candidate for the other party, APC, when he was leaving office, they crafted remunerations for retirement governors. And they put themselves into millions, and he still takes the money up till today. Peter Obi, since he left the office, Anambra State has not bought him a bottle of water. I stand by this. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you very much. The three. We will now applaud for all of them. Please give them a round of applause, a big round of applause. Now it's question time. You all have microphones. You don't have to stand up, so you can answer those questions. So all of you, are your microphones working? All right. The first one goes to the PDP. And he says, what are the principles of the PDP? And then I'm going to do 2 questions at a time to make it faster. So it says, what are the principles of the PDP? And then the second question says, how can Atiku unite Nigeria when he is not able to unite his PDP party? After 8 years in government, can you tell us the accomplishment of Atiku? So those are the 2 questions.
Do you want me to answer that? Okay, thank you so much. I want to appreciate the person that sent that question. PDP is about unity. PDP is about progress. That is the principle. The best for the country. I remember the 16 years when we are in government, a lot of things that we were able to achieve. Even this use of communication, that you can see many of our people that joined us from home. There wasn't anything like Nigerian Communication Commission before. It was PDP that brought it. There wasn't anything like this phone. It was PDP that brought it. A lot of things that PDP brought in when they were in government. And that was the time Alhaji Atiku Abubakar happened to be the vice president of that country. Another thing is the second question said that how can Atiku unite Nigeria when the party is divided? I want to stand and say this very well for every one of us to know. PDP is one, and PDP is not divided. There is no party that will tell me they don't have internal crisis. And politics is always about interest. And if you can look at it, despite all this issue, because I know the issue they are talking about is the issue of the G5. Since this issue started, you can never hear Alhaji Atiku Abubakar saying anything bad or evil about anyone among them in the G5. He kept telling the Nigerians and everybody in the whole world that they are one and they will definitely settle, because it is an internal crisis which happened in other political parties. So PDP is not divided. PDP is one.
Thank you.
The last question.
The last question?
Yes, you gave me 3 questions, please.
Yes, the last question says, after 8 years in government, can you tell us the accomplishment of...
After 16, I want to correct the person that's saying it, that it was 16 years that PDP ruled in Nigeria. And I'm proud to say it. Peter Obi happens to be the vice presidential candidate of the party just 4 years ago. He said a lot of things about the party. Even the day Alhaji Atiku Abubakar was declaring for the position of president, His Excellency Peter Obi was there, and he gave some interview where he said, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar is a mentor, is a leader that the country wants, and if people can vote for him, he's somebody that will definitely deliver the country.
Thank you very much.
So we have a lot that we have achieved. And if we have achieved those at that time, the economic team that we ever had in Nigeria was during Alhaji Atiku Abubakar when he was the vice president, along with President Olusegun Obasanjo.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Omolara.
Thank you.
Yes, we really appreciate that. Ambassador, please could you, if you can get, I see some questions from people on Zoom in Nigeria, so if you can, we can gather those questions, we can ask our representatives here. Now, these questions, from what I have here, APC has a lot of questions. They have the most questions, but I'll ask 2 at a time, or maybe 3. So the first one, Professor Ola, is, does your party promote inclusivity? Why a Muslim ticket? That's the first question. If he promotes inclusivity, why a Muslim ticket? Then the second one, it says, given that Nigeria is upside down, why would anyone, especially the diasporan, want to retain the same political party that has destroyed our country at a time when everyone is crying out for change? That's the second one. Should I repeat it or you got it? So the third one is, are we sure that Asiwaju Tinubu will not convert the Nigerian properties into his personal properties like he did in Lagos after his governorship in Lagos State? So those are the first three questions.
Yeah, thank you so much. We do expect questions like that because when the odds is on your favor, it's like that. The first question was the Muslim ticket. Why are we sure of that? Politics is politics. It's politics. In politics, you go there to win and to carry people along. This gentleman we are talking about, his wife is a pastor of the Redeemed Christian Church, and everybody knows that. His wife is a pastor. So if he can't convince, the issue people have sometimes is that maybe because he got Muslim, forgetting that we are all Nigerians. The Muslim, the Christian, the pagans, they are all Nigerians. When we come here, when you get to the American embassy, they didn't ask you, are you a Christian or a Muslim? You know, his wife, like we're saying right now, is a pastor. His wife go to church. And all his children are Christians. Faith is something, it's just like your color. You can't choose it when you are born. So, and he has never done that. The other one is about the economy. You know, repeat the question, the second one again. Yeah.
For the APC, given that Nigeria is upside down, why would anyone, especially the diaspora, political party that has destroyed our country at a time when everyone is crying out for change?
Yeah, and the third one?
And the third one, are we sure that Tinubu will not convert the Nigerian properties, personal properties, like
Well, the question about Tinubu is that we belong to a party, and party is a collection of people. You cannot, he belongs as a APC, but Tinubu is not the president. It's not, he has been out of government for the past, the last time he was governor is in the 90s. He never owned, he has never got any contract from the government. He was one of the chief lords in the party, but he's not a member of the cabinet. So let's get that straight. The fact that, and the government has done some good things, the infrastructure, yeah, we continue to do better, but Tinubu is not part of it. And the other one is issue of commercialize or takeover. It's an allegation. There is nobody in Nigeria who has ever been investigated more than Alhaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu. EFCC have investigated him, the FBI, you know, Scotland Yard, everybody has actually, at no time has he ever been found guilty of any offense. But it's all right, because like unto whom much is given, much is expected. They do expect him to be the next president, and that's what we're saying, especially people calling from Nigeria, to see his track record. How many people are being fed in Nigeria right now? How many people get their job in Lagos? At the 6th largest economy. Anybody, if you are going someplace, you ask the people who know the road, so you won't miss the road. And that's what we are saying. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that answer. Now we have questions for the Labour. Thank you so much. Your question again, Labour Party representatives. Many people from Nigeria get educated, then move abroad. What is Peter Obi's plan to get these people to move back to Nigeria, invest in Nigeria? Will there be incentives for doing so? For investment back will create jobs, help build infrastructure, etc. That's number one question. And then the second question is, there is a rumor or insinuation that OBJ, Obasanjo, is presently working an alliance possibility between PDP and Labour. What if this idea works out? How will you respond or reaction will be for your candidate, Peter Obi? And then the third one is, does Peter Obi have a plan in place to unify the Hausa, Yoruba, and the Igbo? What has he done in the past to unify everyone? Those are the three questions first.
Thank you very much. Let me start from the third one. In terms of unifying the different races in Nigeria, different tribes in Nigeria, I could say that Peter Obi is the only person who has a track record of doing that, and he will do it efficiently. Look at his choice of vice presidential candidate, Dati Baba Ahmed. He's a core northerner from the Fulani tribe. He went and picked him, and he's a Muslim, so he knows how to balance out things. That Nigeria is a multicultural, multi-religious society. So he feels, he knows where we should lean to get us better results. So he chose a Muslim as his vice presidential candidate and a younger person too. Very energetic, because a country like Nigeria, you need a lot of energy and strength to govern it, to rule it properly. Then going to, in terms of unification, I go back to when he was governor of Anambra State, he was the only governor that had every member of the House of Assembly, not from his own party. He ruled Anambra State, he governed Anambra State without a single member of the House of Assembly from APGA, which was his, that was his party then that he used in winning. This is a people's man. This is somebody I know and I feel that he's ordained by God to govern and govern appropriately. Because when you look at your leader, you know, if he rules well, if he governs you properly, there will be peace. When he built the best network of roads in Anambra State, and there was no rancor anywhere. So he's going to be able to unite. Then the second question was the issue of diaspora, you know, creating, making people who are most Nigerians to come back to Nigeria and invest and grow. You see, if you take, for instance, I tell you about India. Do you remember when India, most schools, even in America here, you had professors that were mostly from India. What India did then was they had to grow their diaspora. They took their most intelligent people, educated them properly in India, and exported them to other countries of Africa. I was taught in school by a biochemist who was Professor Bhattacharya in school then at Nsukka. He was from India. So Nigeria will grow a pool of professionals that they'll be exporting to other countries, and that will earn us foreign exchange. And that's what India used to grow. So he's going to do that in Nigeria. When you look at, even in America here too, they've said that most educated people who are foreigners in this country are Nigerians, and we're proud of that. He's going to key into that and make it grow. Now, what was the other question? I forgot.
The third one was the unified, and then the other one was...
the PDP and Labour. Well, you know, it is interesting because they say if you're a good bride, people want to marry you. You're beautiful.
Give me a minute first. That question, I didn't know had something on the other side. It says, I'll repeat the question. There's a rumor, insinuation that Pa OBJ is presently working on an alliance, possibly between PDP and Labour Party. If the idea works out, how will your response or reaction be if your candidate, Peter Obi, is prevailed upon to vie or run as VP to Atiku? Would you still dedicatedly and wholeheartedly believe in him and continue working for him as you are presently doing? That's the whole question.
Okay, thank you very much. You see, the issue of leadership, we don't see it as life and death, especially in Labour Party. If eventually, you know, Labour Party is like a beautiful bride. I go back to that, beautiful bride. If you're a beautiful bride, you have too many suitors coming, everybody wants to marry you. And that's what Labour Party is like now in Nigeria. So if eventually, you know, any of these suitors come by and he wants to settle with any of them, that's fine. But we're not going to struggle for what roles, vice presidential or presidency. Well, in Nigeria, we know that for inclusivity, I heard you say that, first of all. You know that the tribe that he comes from, which is the Igbo tribe, have never been president in Nigeria for a long while. So I think, for equity, it behoves on Nigerians to accept an Igbo man now as a president. But that's not the issue. We want to have somebody who has competence, capacity, and strength to govern Nigeria, to rule and govern Nigeria, and extricate Nigeria from this mess we are in. And it's only Peter Obi out of the three other candidates, major candidates, that will do it. He's not corrupt. He's the only man that he has never had any case with EFCC. So.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
These questions goes to all of you. It's going to be the same questions for the three candidates. You have only 1 minute each. Now, I will call on APC representative first. It says, how would your party solve the problem of youth unemployment?
Yes, thank you so much. That is also part of the APC manifesto. Because if you see our manifesto, we recognize that this is the power belongs to the youth. And what has the party, or Asiwaju has, he have promised that he's going to make 30% of his administration youth, and he's also recognized the power of IT, the broadband, that he is going to invest heavily on the broadband and make sure we have educate our youth, because they are the leader of the free world, the entertainment industry. You remember Nigeria just won one of the best performance in the world. We're going to invest a lot. We're going to get our economy from consumer to production. Those are areas where Asiwaju revolutionizing the economy. Thank you.
Same question to the PDP. How would your party solve the problem of youth unemployment?
Thank you very much. Alhaji Atiku Abubakar is someone that loves the youth very well, and everything he always do, he will tell you that we need to groom our youth. We need to allow them to have some facility for them to grow, and also be able to context among the other youths in the whole world. He said something about Minister of Youth and Sport. He said the person that is going to make Minister of Youth will be 30 years old. And because he has done that before, we cannot doubt him. I remember how old was Akinwumi Adesina when he brought him. I remember how old was Ezekiel Sili and some other ones like that when he brought them in the economic team. Even Ngozi. Thank you.
Thank you so much. The Labour Party representative here, Mr. Mike, the same question. How would your party solve the problem of youth unemployment? 1 minute.
The youth, for youth unemployment in Nigeria, for Labour Party, that's the main. I've heard you people have heard about structure, no structure, no structure. The structure of Labour Party is the youth. So this will be our main focus. And the youths are over 58% of the voting class in Nigeria. And that's that's going to be my presidential candidate's main focus. He's always lived and fought for the youths. Now, in terms of creating employment for them, when he was really in Anambra, I keep going back to the state. He had something they call skills acquisition centers that he developed in every local government in Anambra State. So most of these youths who were, hangers on playing around, they got to learn different types of trades. And each time they graduated from there, they gave them empowerment, grants to go into businesses.
1 minute, time up. Thank you so much.
Okay, I was going to talk about, these guys, the Yahoo people. Peter Obi has a main plan for them.
You will have another opportunity, sir.
Thank you.
Continue. This is a question for all. It's still, and so you can always take your 5 seconds from the other one. It goes back to Professor Ola. What's your candidate position on implementing the protocols of establishing the Region 6 of African in Diaspora integration into the African Union?
Well, okay. The issue of integration to the African Union, I think we are working on that, and that will be studied effectively before, that is a state question. And if it's going, Nigeria partake in ECOWAS right now, and we partake in the African Union. So those are issues that will be studied extensively, but we are part of the African Union as well as the United Nations. Thank you.
Thank you. Same question to Mrs. Omolara for PDP.
Okay, so looking at ECOWAS or Africa Union or every other union that we have that Nigeria happen to be a member of, we can see that good relationship among these people is very, very important, and it's something that it will have good impact in some countries that are facing some difficulties. And Alhaji Atiku Abubakar is somebody that is going to do that according to his own covenant and promises to Nigerians, that we are going to have a good integration among ourselves and even among other unions, being African Union, United Nations, and every other union that we belong to as a body, as a country. And we'll be able to make use of whatever we have in support of other countries too, so that we can have peace among our continents and even in the diaspora. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for that quick answer. The Labour Party representative, same question.
The Labour Party, my presidential candidate, when he gets to become the president of Nigeria, being that he's a bridge builder, and then Nigeria will be coming from a position of strength in terms of wealth and numbers in the whole African nations. Nigeria will be classified as wealthy, as we have enough natural resources, and we are the highest contributors in any of these organizations like United Nations, ECOWAS. Nigeria puts more money there than any other nation in Africa. Just like what America does with the United Nations and the World Health Organizations, this is what Nigeria will be doing with him there. And that will go ahead to cementing the whole country, the whole nation, the whole African region. And then we're going to grow from strength to strength when he becomes the president of Nigeria. Thank you so much.
Thank you for that quick answer also. Now, I'm going to take some questions that we got from the people in Nigeria, from the Zoom. Then we'll go back again to those questions from the floor. This one is for Labour Party. It's from the Zoom. It says, why do people of Anambra reject PTO from campaigning in the state?
Reject what's PTO, Peter?
Peter Obi from campaigning in the state. That's what the question is.
Why do they reject?
Yeah, why do people of Anambra reject Peter Obi from campaigning in Anambra State?
I don't think that's a fact. No, that's not true.
Okay.
I'm sorry. That's not true. Yeah.
That was just the question.
The question is wrong.
All right, thank you for that answer. Now, this one is from Zoom, and it's for APC representative. No, it was particularly for the representative. They wrote whether it's APC or PDP. The one I give everyone is the one that goes for. All right, this one is for APC. It's from Zoom also. What are the plans of your party, of Asiwaju, to address electricity and insecurity in Nigeria?
Oh, nice. Thank you, sir. If you are going on a journey, if you ask the road for the people who have the map, you will not miss the road. Lagos today is one of the safest city or state in Nigeria. You know, it's one of the safest, and the experience is there. I just came from home in December, and it's still the safest place, and there's no doubt in Nigeria that it's still the safest. The plan we have is that there's going to be more police, they're going to use technology, the borders, you know, and invest a whole lot of money. The other question was the electricity, you know. When His Excellency was the governor of Lagos, he introduced this idea of the power generation coming home, you know. And even if you go to Lagos today, the electric generation, yeah, we have a lot of work to do, the generating mega power that we need. We have hydropower, but he has said that he will convert some of the money from we having from this food energy, and then we'll be able to have solar, hydro, electric power, coal, combination of all this. You know, in Africa, we have a lot of solar energy. So he will be investing a lot.
Thank you very much.
So that will help us with the economy.
All right. Going back to questions for all three of you, this is a question for all. It says, and I'm starting from the PDP this time around. This question says, corruption, insecurity, and lack of basic infrastructures continue to push people out of Nigeria. Poor education and poor financial management of public funds deprives the people from good standard of living. How can we hold any of these incoming leaders accountable to the people when they get into power? So how can we hold
Thank you.
Atiku accountable?
Thank you very much. During the regime of President Olusegun Obasanjo, when Atiku Abubakar happened to be the vice president, that is the time we started EFCC and ICPC to fight corruption. And why did they do that? The reason is to put the country in place. And with that, I believe when our candidates, that is the presidential candidates, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, get back to that seat, I know everything will be okay. And it will tell you, question me if there's anything I have done wrong. And I remember all those allegations against him in respect of corruption. They have gone to a level that even to the Supreme Court, and they couldn't find anything to question him. Same thing, we are going to question every leader, because whatever the political parties we belong to, Nigeria is for everybody. Nigeria is for all of us. And we want the best for our country. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Now, same question for representative of APC. Corruption, insecurity, and lack of basic infrastructure continue to push people out of Nigeria. Poor education and poor financial management of public funds deprives the people from good standard of living. How can we hold any of these incoming leaders accountable to the people when they get into power? How can we hold Alhaji Asiwaju accountable?
Yeah, the issue of insecurity, it's a very, because according to Maslow, there's three basic things in life that is important: clothes, food, and security. And we are saying right now that the country we have is very insecure. This, our leader have introduced technology. You know, recently we just have a drone flying over the US. And it was because of technology we were able to bring him down. And this gentleman is talking about his community policing, is going to invest in the economy, gain more people. In terms of corruption, accountability is very important in Nigeria. And we are going to work on that by empower the judiciary system so that they could be independent of what they are supposed to do. Like I said, he has been subject of a series of investigations. They are wanting, nothing has happened. The issue of infrastructure development. The problem we have in Nigeria is revenue collection. Revenue in Nigeria, people don't pay tax. He was the first governor that turned the economy from $600 to $6 trillion. Like introducing, you know, he's an accountant. He's trained in this. He was the treasurer of Mobil, one of the 500 fortune countries in the world. He will turn the country.
Thank you so much for that.
Eldorado of economy.
Same question for the Labour Party. Do you want me to repeat, or you got a question? Corruption, insecurity, and lack of basic infrastructure continues to push people out of Nigeria. Poor education and poor financial management of public funds deprives the people from good standard of living. How can we hold any of these incoming leaders, including Peter Obi, accountable to the people when they get into power?
In terms of corruption, these first two parties that you mentioned, they've always been there. When our crude oil is always stolen, we don't even have correct data of of the crude being drilled in Nigeria. We don't have correct data. So when Peter Obi comes into power, he's going to make sure that Nigerian's crude is well calibrated. Anywhere he's going, we'll track it to the place. And this is all being done under the watch of these other parties. And we say we can't continue. In terms of security, he's going to create, he said about community policing. And then for corruption too, if he doesn't take, like from most of his speeches, his wife is not corrupt, his children are not corrupt, his friends are not corrupt. How will the system be corrupt? So you won't even have much to police because everything will be transparent. He's going to run a very transparent government, and we'll all be happy in it. He has said he's going to move Nigeria from consumption to production. I've heard other people borrow that cliche to use, but it came from him. He said Nigeria will move from consumption to production. So thank you, folks.
Thank you very much. Thank you. We are trying to, it's 3:34. We should be done by 4 o'clock. So we are going to quickly take the remaining questions, and then we'll give the floor a few audiences. So this question goes to PDP. It says, Alhaji Atiku understand a lot of Nigerian properties. Undersold, sorry. I didn't see the handwriting. Alhaji Atiku undersold a lot of Nigerian properties and pocketed most of the funds. Are we sure he will not continue to do the same thing with the remaining properties of Nigeria? Tough one.
Thank you so much. I don't really know. Maybe I can have time. I would like us to look at it and say if it is truly this. I know this issue of privatization, the question will definitely come out. When we are talking about privatization, there is a group, an organization that is MPC, that is set up, which Atiku Abubakar, happened to be the chairman of that group. And when we are talking about privatization sales, we'll be looking at BPE, that is Bureau of Procurement, which he, as a person, have nothing to say. He cannot decide the price. The only thing is that they can look at what they need to privatize. And there are some things, because I would have loved it if I have enough time for us to know this issue of privatization in full, so that we will not be taking some other informations that did not happen and maybe spreading it as if it happened. Atiku Abubakar wasn't the one that did the privatization. He is just the chairman of MPC. He is not the chairman of BPE. El-Rufai, the governor of Kaduna State, happened to be the chairman of BPE, which decides the price and who they sell any properties to at that time. And I remember that El-Rufai made some submission. He even swear in the name of God that Alhaji Atiku Abubakar never for one day come to them and say, this is the person you should sell it. The only person he accused of is
Thank you so much.
Former President Olusegun Obasanjo.
Thank you very much.
If you allow the details, I will give it to you.
Yeah, we don't have enough time for that. Thank you so much. I have more APC questions, even from Zoom, than any. So you guys will take a break for me. I have only one question left for both of you, but I have more here. They are from Nigeria, Mr. Representative. This one says, it's a funny one. It says, why does the candidate, APC, believe Nigeria's presidency is his birthright? That is one question. So I'm going to give you two, if you don't mind. So the first one says, why does he, the president of APC, believe that the presidency, Nigeria's presidency, is his birthright? Then the second one is very, I guess, is more of, I don't know. Who's saying that? So this one says, if it's not, or it's not, you say it is not true that if it's not true. He said if it is not true that Mobolaji Bankantoni developed Lagos majorly, why claim it was Senator Tinubu? So those are two first. Yes, then we'll go from there.
The first one is that we believe the birthright of APC. And I'm happy that our sister who is representing PDP have said they rule for 16 years. And also, do not forget, if the last election have worked, Labour were being part of them because they are the same brothers and sisters. They were together. He was the president, and our LP was the vice president. We're talking about competency, capacity, ability to deliver, that where record have shown beyond reasonable doubt, evidence-based, that this is one of the best human beings Nigeria could produce at this time. Maybe tomorrow, there'll be more, but as of now, the best person, one of the best person that Nigeria could produce is, and it will, by 25th, by inshallah, by God's grace, the evidence will show.
All right, are you done with both questions?
What is the next one?
The second one is, if it's not true that Mobolaji Bankantoni developed Lagos majorly, why claim it was Senator Tinubu?
Well, that's a saying that on whose shoulder that we stand. Yeah, there's no doubt Mark Antony was a former governor. The idea, and that it's an African adage, that our son may be better than us. It's not competing with him, but he stands on his shoulder to make it a better place. And this is what is going to happen. After the Buhari regime, Tinubu will stand on his shoulder and come about economic revolution because he's an economist of the highest order in the world. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much for that. I'm going to, so don't turn it off because you have more questions, like I said, than everyone else. So I'm going to give you another 2 questions before I go to Labour and PDP. So this person say, what will Tinubu do about crime and security? What will Tinubu do about crime and security? And then this other one says, why should we vote for an old man who can barely stand and is sick? As we all know, he goes to London for treatment as against a young man who has the strength. Don't you think it is unfair to Nigeria and Africa? So those are the 2 questions.
Okay, thank you. The issue of crime and security always come out about, and he has laid the infrastructure of the most secure nation. I've never heard when we talk and when people say that Anambra is the most secure place in Nigeria. And as a matter of fact, it's one of those people, every time there's infighting going on among our brothers over there. And that has not been corrected, you know. And the vice president who's here today, he was one of those. But as the result of what the infrastructure laid by policing, we're now talking about community policing, it's already in place in Nigeria. If you get to places in Nigeria, there's community policing already gone. It's the only thing, when he becomes president in May, that will be official. And the other issue about...
You want me to repeat it?
Yes.
It says, why should we vote for an old man who can barely stand and is sick, as we all know? He goes to London for treatment as against a young man who has the strength. Don't you think it is unfair to Nigeria and Africa?
Well, the issue, I happen to be a medical doctor, and the issue of health is judged by God and Allah. Nobody have that the fact that he has been running harder than anybody else in this campaign, and you have never seen him fall down. You have never seen him rush to the hospital. He's campaigning every day. And you have never seen, yeah, he went to treatment just like we went to treatment. So he won't even know the importance. The president of America today is older than him. The president of Russia is older than him. And they are doing, we're talking about competency. He's not trying to be a wrestler. He's not trying to be a boxer. He's talking about brain capacity to lead the largest nation in the world that God has given him the talent, and he's ready to serve in that capacity. We're not talking about wrestler. He's not trying to be world heavyweight boxing champion. You sit down and delegate responsibility to the most competent Nigerian so that Nigerian could have this economic revolution we are talking about. Thank you.
Right, thank you so much. Thank you very much. We go to PDP. You have 2 questions now. Yes. So the first question is, the PDP was kicked out of government, accused of widespread corruption and abuse of power. What has changed? That's number 1. Then the second one is, what did Alhaji Atiku do with the allocation for electricity in Nigeria? Is it allocation or allowance? With the allocation of electricity in Nigeria. So the first one is, PDP was kicked out for widespread corruption and abuse of power. What has changed? And the other one, what did Atiku do with the allocation for electricity?
Thank you so much. The first question I'll first answer is the issue of what has changed. A lot has changed. A lot has changed. And I want to repeat what I first said, that PDP brought in EFCC and ICPC for a purpose. And the regime that they accused, that I think that's the regime of the last president of the PDP. They said it's too quiet, it's too easy, they can't. But the sincere truth is that a lot has changed. It's Alhaji Atiku Abubakar that is coming up. It is not they that were there before. Personality has a lot to do when it comes to position. Talking about integrity, honesty, humility, all those things you can find in Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. Then your second question is talking about the issue of the electricity. You know, I love to allow lies to fly. You know, people love propaganda. They like to, they are so lazy, I'm sorry to use that word, to make researches and find out the truth. By the special grace of God, I happen to be a journalist, and I worked for 22 good years. And I work in the only international broadcasting station in Nigeria. So when I'm talking, I like people to know this, because when we're talking about facts, we need to be talking about facts. When we're talking about documents, we need to talk about documents. There wasn't like that. It wasn't Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. All those ones are just rumors, propaganda.
Thank you
lies.
so much. Thank you very much, Mrs. Omolara Williams. Now I have the last 2 questions for the Labour Party representative, Honorable Mike Okaka. The first one is this. Peter Obi invested taxpayers' money in a company where he was a shareholder. Why should he be rewarded with Nigerian presidency? That's the first one. And then the second and the last one will be, will the Labour Party have enough representation in the legislature to make genuine changes?
I'll start from the last one. If you talk about having the numbers to make genuine changes, I told you, if you recall, when I was making my position at first, that Peter ruled Anambra State, a state of almost 6-7 million people, with no representative in the House of Assembly. And he was able to build the best network of roads in Nigeria out of the 36 states. He was the only governor that left office with 75 billion naira for the incoming governor to use to do work for the state. Every other state governor in Nigeria always left the country coffers in the red. So when you see a man with such talents and abilities, why wouldn't you give him the responsibility of being the president of Nigeria? Ladies and gentlemen, I think it behoves of us to take advantage of what God gave us in Nigeria in the person of Peter Obi to make him the president of that country. Now, what was the other question, moderator?
The other question
Yes.
is it about the legislature? The investment, okay. The other one says, sorry, I thought you had both. It said, 1 second, please. I already packed it.
What about, you said he has investment in a company and he
Said he invested Anambra's people's money in a company where he's a shareholder. Why should we entrust the presidency to him?
Well, I will ask two questions. If I was, did the taxpayers' money yield profits? Did they lose their investments? Did they lose value? That's what we should be concerned about, not because he has investments there and he put the taxpayers' money there. All he should be concerned about, did the monies he put there yield money? But I'm sure he never did that. I can say that for sure. He never did that. Because I know he wasn't corrupt at all when he was ruling Anambra State, and he's not a corrupt person. So that's falsehood, I guess. He's all about creating wealth. That's what his life has been all about.
Thank you very
much. So let's take advantage of that, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much. Before we throw the microphone as a town hall to some of you to ask questions or make a speech, first I would like all of you to give a round of applause for three reps, a big round of applause for them. Professor Shalewa Ola has done very well to represent APC. Mrs. Omolara, thank you for representing PDP, and Mr. Mike Okaka. Now, that's the end of our debate and questions. We'll now go into our town hall session.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. But before we can do that, please, I crave your indulgence to please ask your questions. Be very respectful. We don't want any distractions here, please. Please straight to the point. Just 1 minute question, because if you have a problem here, you're going to shut here down. So please, let us behave like Nigerian Americans, African Nigerians, please. I'm pleading. Don't ask any question that will cause problems. Please, I'm just pleading. Thank you so much. So the first person, if you have a question, raise up your hands. I'm going to...
All right, I see okay, 2 hands first. Johnny from North Carolina, please. The cameraman was just letting me know that you have to... I can't see myself. So if he's here, even with the mic stand, I can't see myself. You know what? So he should be able to answer and you will see him. Oh, okay. The camera is only focused on the stage. So, you want to put him on the stage? That would be excellent too. Maybe on the stage is fine. He's showing. Yeah, that's the only place. Okay. All right. Okay, I'll go to the podium. Let's invite you to the podium then.
I just want to thank the lady and the two gentlemen. Done an outstanding job representing your principles. My question, or my correction rather, to the APC rep, I think it's not very right. Because in the 1970s, Nigeria experienced a lot of oil boom, great oil boom, that General Yakubu Gowon with Mobalaji Johnson developed Lagos immensely with infrastructure beyond repair. In fact, that is why they hosted Festac. It wasn't Tinubu. For the APC, for the PDP, why does Olusegun Obasanjo, a wonderful and outstanding leader, going around telling the whole nation, don't trust this man. The money he stole from the country can feed the nation for decades. That is the man that knows him the best. He picked him, he hired him, So how can you defend that?
Thank you very much. No, thank you very much for that question, sir. If we can remember in 2015, you remember President Olusegun Obasanjo supported Atiku Abubakar. In 2019, he supported Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. We still even have the videos where he was talking about him being a very reputable person, responsible, somebody that you can trust. But one thing I want you to know is that most of our leaders, they know very well that they don't always like somebody to compete with them. They want to have the best legacy. He knew very well that if Atiku Abubakar can come up as the president of Nigeria, he will be able to do more better than what he did. Because he knew that when he was in position, it was Alhaji Atiku Abubakar that was doing most of the jobs. And secondly, if he knew that if he supported, I'm sorry to use this, if he supported Asiwaju, you know, they are not best of friends from beginning. And again, he knew that if he supported Peter Obi will be, he will be idolizing him for life. Yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. And that is what most of our leaders want. If he can recognize him, that his regime was good, and Alhaji Atiku Abubakar happened to be his vice president,
Time up, please.
why is he now saying he's not good?
Thank you very much, and we'll let the APC rebuttal for 30 seconds, please.
The question that Lagos belongs to all, you know, Nigeria belongs to all. You know, we are not discriminating that people, but it was in the Bible that the wise men, when they give them the money, they didn't specify Lagos, they gave it all to Nigeria. What do they do with their money? When Lagos turned is 600 million to 6 trillion. What do they do with the money that was passed to everybody? So it was this gentleman who was in power, and he invested the money, and today everybody enjoy this investment capacity, and that is what Nigeria needs.
Thank you very much. Another question, Mr. Dotson.
Thank you, everybody, and thank you for the organizer of this program. My name is Dotun Ogunleye. I'm the chairman of Afenifere USA. And my first question will go to the APC representative, Dr. Ola Shalewa. He made mention of one thing now, that the Lagos State IGR over years of 23 years has risen to about 1 billion naira per annum. So my question now to you, if Lagos State is generating so much money of that highest number, and as of today, there's no tap water in Lagos State, no drop of water coming from the tap, where's the money going? No sewage system. We all know that water is the beginning of any healthy society because of the clean water and cleaning the water we bring. There's no water. Where is the money going? Where is the development in Lagos State when you are generating so much? Simple water you cannot get. No housing. Jakonde left Lagos State with housing estate. Jakonde estate. Jakonde schools. Where's Lagos State? Lagos State nursing. Lagos State School of Nursing in Ikoyi. Who occupied that space now? Who occupied that Lagos State School of Nursing now? Asiwaju, your candidate. Who occupied Lagos State Polytechnic now? A school meant for technical school.
Time up, please. Time up, please.
Asiwaju, answer those questions for me, please.
Thank you.
And easy lies the head that wears the crown. You know, and by 25th, we will be the president because it belongs to all of us. The gentleman who's talking happened to be a good friend of mine. The city he's talking about have a population of almost 23 million. Another state like Ekiti have less than 1 million people. So when we have to cater for almost 40 million people. The infrastructure, you know, overladen, and the gentleman he's talking about has been out of power for the past 20-something years, and everybody still accuse him of what happened after 20-something years. Yes, give him that opportunity to come back again and do the magic. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor Ola. Please let me ask a question. That goes to the PDP, if you wouldn't mind. Okay. When you were speaking, I heard what you said about Abubakar Atiku is not tribalistic. That's right. And there was a presentation in the North where he stated, do not vote for Igbo man. Do not vote for Yoruba man. So what does that reflect? Thank you.
I said it when I was answering a question. I said I'm a journalist. And I know what we journalists do. This program we're having, we can reduce it to a level that we pick what we want to pick from there. You have forgotten what is said before that statement and after that statement. Why can't we bring out the old clips and watch it and confirm that that is exactly what he said? I watched it because after that accusation, I told you that I always believe in facts and document, maybe because of my job. But sincerity there is. I watched it from the beginning to the end. It's, for example, I can be talking to people of my tribe now, and I'm also talking about, I am a Pan-African man. Don't look at tribes. Don't say because this is Yoruba, this is Igbo, this is Hausa, this is Fulani, and use that to vote. That is exactly what Elijah Atiku Abubakar was saying that day. I would have loved us to go back. We still have that clips. Please, I beg us to go back and listen from beginning to the end.
Thank you
so
very
that
much.
we can get the facts from
Thank
there.
you very much. Please, I've just been notified that the campus has given us extra time for 30 minutes. So I'm going to try and utilize it as much as possible. I have people who want to make one or two comments, but please, I want to reinstate. Let us be civil. Let us not insult each other. We have seen, at least on TV, CNN, MSNBC, so many town hall meetings. And if we are agitating for our country to be like United States, politics should be civil. We should not, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, Tinubu, they are not going to be boxing each other. They were recently signing the peace agreement. They were laughing and drinking wine together. But we supporters are the one putting on the glove box. So please, let us refrain from, at least there are some civilized way of conveying your message and that everyone will understand. So I want to recognize one of our community leaders, former president of Nigeria Foundation, former president of the Yoruba community. He is the guru of the Yorubas. Dr. Prince. He's a prince too. He's a prince in the whole land. Prince Dr. Ade Adeleke. 1 minute, your question or your comments. But please be civil.
Good afternoon or good evening, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, let me appreciate this coming together here. And to be honest with you, I really appreciate the work of the panelists, from my great friend, Chief Okaka, the AP. And nice meeting you. I heard about you, and this is the time of seeing you. And to my own Egbon here, the Egbon Buruburu, Dr. Ola. and our own Guruburu of Igbo Kingdom, Ezendigbo, Dr. Ikene Aduru, and my own good friend, because show me your friend and let me know who you are. I'm talking person of His Excellency Honorable Ayo Da Silva. 4 years ago in Nigeria, he was among the contestants. And he was the presidential candidate of Safe Nigeria Congress. After the election, he came number 11. That was after Sowore. And geographically spread, he came number 5. So how the parties geographically spread. So I always give him that honor. Now, I'm just here because to the organizers, to be honest with you, you try your possible best. But the audience, sometimes we have allotted more than the issue of 30 minutes to the audience too, to let us contribute. We've already asked our questions to the different paper we submitted. Just like the moderator said, my name is Prince Dr. Ade Adeleke, as already been said. The issue here, I'm just here to throw some light on my own candidate in person of Chief Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Because my man here tried all his possible best, but I believe a tree can never make a forest, because he's been bombarded with many questions concerning Asiwaju, and you cannot expect him to have all the answers to all the questions. But I tried that. You try your possible best. Because here, one of my good friends, my junior brother, a great coordinator, as he said, because a great coordinator, the North America for Afenifere. He came here to have all that happened in Lagos State. Let me tell you one thing. Governance is a matter of continuity. It's just like a race. You run a race, you hand the baton to another person to continue. So no one has monopoly of knowledge. No one can finish all the job. That is why when we were born, when they started this government, it still continue, and after us it will continue. So if you expect Asiwaju to fix all the problems in Lagos, it's not possible.
Thank you so much, Dr.
But
Adeleke.
he started it, and he moved it forward.
Time is
and
essential.
Lagos will continue to move forward progressively, likewise the Southwest.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and God bless you all.
Thank you, Dr. Adeleke. On a quick note, I'll call the president of the Igbo community, Igbo Cultural, Chief Gabe Ugu, for your comments. A round of applause for Chief Gabe Ugu, please.
My comment is twofold. Number one, every capital has advantage. I'm from Enugu. Enugu used to be the capital of Eastern region. Enugu today is one of the best cities in that region from its position of capital. In the case of Lagos, Lagos was put together by our former colonialists, the British. It was the entry point, the seaport, the administrative capital, the financial capital. If you can imagine putting Washington, D.C. in New York, that's exactly what Lagos is. So Lagos took that advantage over